and found that 6% of the American people, was it 20-something thousand they interviewed, trusted mainstream media. And parallel university studies show that around 70% of people trust the internet. And by that, they don't trust everything they see, but they trust the general opinion of the public or video the public shot or random musings or reviews, you know, of restaurants, whatever. Crowdsourcing, crowd judgment. They trust that a lot more than they trust mainstream media. So when you see the incredible arrogance of the Pope saying Europe shouldn't have Christian roots, Christianity isn't good, these are quotes. Jesus was like ISIS, remember that last week in LaCroix newspaper, big Catholic paper? When you see stuff like that, or you see Obama saying you didn't build your business, it's meant to be over the top to normalize crazy tyranny. That's a desperation tactic to get your normalcy bias so high that they can get away with anything. I mean, if they can get you to teach your 5-year-olds what sex they should be or they shouldn't be any sex, you let the school engage in pedophile training. That's what it is. Then you'll put up with anything. If they can come and take your children's minds, they can do anything. So the SEC has come out, as Drudge visited us last year and warned us, and called for censoring all political information and ideas on the internet and taxing you and not letting you actually have it. And they're arresting filmmakers and people across the country. They're indicting conservative governors. I mean, they're moving. Here's the Daily Beast. First came the Drudge link, then the death threats. Anne Revell was relatively unknown government official. Not a servant, but an official, until her words got featured on the Drudge Report. Soon, the trolls, see, the bad people, were screaming at her to drop dead. In October 2014, the Federal Election Commission Vice Chairwoman, Anne Revell, did what she does best, speak her mind about political campaign issues. And she went on to say, we should register and restrict political talk, starting with the Drudge Report, and not allow it to even link to news articles. And it goes on to admit it there. Now, here it is. FEC Dems would ban Drudge, New York Times, free media on election eve. FEC chair once warns that conservative media like Drudge Report and Sean Hannity face regulation. See, and they've done this before with the fairness doctrine on talk radio that finally got overturned by Bruce Fein, who was the head lawyer for the FEC, or the FCC at the time, was able to get that removed. But they want to bring this back because no matter how fancy their sets, no matter how much money they spend on MSNBC and CNN, their top shows have 500,000 viewers now. Big radio shows in New York City have more on one affiliate than that. We have rated on our close to 200 affiliates 470-something thousand people every 15 minutes. It was 300-something thousand. I mean, in the aggregate, every hour, there's over 800,000 people that are tuning in. That's on AM and FM stations. 5 million YouTube views a day on our platforms. Millions a day on, I mean, I'm not going to keep going here. The point is, these people are in their own world, and they want to keep you in their little fantasy land. But they know fantasy land's dead. They're leaving it up as a facade, hoping and dreaming that if they can censor the internet and censor you and censor the news you spread, but also shut down the main capital ships, the motherships like DrudgeReport.com, Infowars.com, WorldNetDaily.com, DailyCaller.com, Breitbart.com. None of us are perfect and have all the answers. The point is, though, that's what they openly say they want to go after. If they can shut that down and then shut down grassroots, it's game over. And one of the frequent people that Paul Watson interviews, we're going to interview her. She's a conservative, anti-third wave feminist in Canada. Facebook told her, she published it. We have an Infowars.com article right now. She's coming on in a couple days. I'm going to cover this in a moment. And they told her, sorry, you're talking about Facebook censorship. It's a huge national story. Hundreds of articles a day. We're not going to allow you to share that. You're suspended. What is it, for a week? Now, we've been suspended on Facebook before for putting out a Navy SEAL meme about, you know, she didn't act and these SEALs died. Facebook bans conservatives for complaining about censorship. Social media giant back to its old ways despite much heralded meeting with conservatives. They bring in Glenn Beck. They meet with him. He comes out and says, there's no censorship. These are, quote, good liberals, not progressives. These are quotes. And everything's okay now as they have a Senate investigation of this. Zuckerberg meets with the communist Chinese leadership. He's involved in the #1 campaign money raiser right now for Hillary. Look it up. I have the articles right here. I'm going to go over them. And they're sitting there selling censorship. They tell you, have your Facebook, have your pictures, talk about your worldviews, whatever. Oh, you want to push carbon taxes? You want to push, you know, Heather has 2 mommies or whatever. You want to push whatever you want on little kids, that's fine. You want to push Black Lives Matter that says go out and kill the cops. I mean, that's what Facebook admits they give top billing to. See, it's not top news anymore that you look at. It's top trends. They create fake trends. But see, true patriots, beyond conservatism, just pro-humans, Renaissance folks, come out and we dominate Facebook. And so, oh, we're getting every video on Facebook, 1 million views. Oh, they just put a deal on there where we can't share our video. And then have Facebook people reach out to us and say, stop doing this and we'll let your stuff get spread. See, and I respond, okay, this is an off-the-record meeting, but I'm going to go and say that you did this. I'm not going to say who did it, but, you know. Meanwhile, Beck gets invited to meet with Zuckerberg and then grovels before him. So that's why this is so painful. See, Beck was only given his radio show with no ratings and put up there by Clear Channel. Government-sponsored, government-funded, government-run. Beck is the government. Beck is the Democratic Party. Beck has always been Zuckerberg's buddy. They've always been this snickering evil team. He is a narcissistic, power-mad Satanist, in my view. And I don't mean he gets around black altars at night, but he's all about himself and his little power. You can see him. He's so weak. He just is just incredible. Preying on people. I mean, the guy is literally such a predator. I mean, he looks like a serial killer. My cells cry out against him. Just he is the counterfeit. Tucker Carlson's father was the head of Voice of America. Comes from a very old, prestigious American family. That's why he was invited to the Zuckerberg summit. But he understands what's happening, and he understands his viewers aren't going to support him either if he goes along with the New World Order. For whatever reason, Tucker Carlson has a soul and came out, even though he had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and said that Glenn Beck groveled on his knees, basically, there at that private meeting with Zuckerberg. We're going to play the clip in a moment. We're getting him on this week. And I really like Tucker Carlson. I've met him in person, and now that there's more opposition to the New World Order, he's really coming along. I'm not territorial. I want to see people dominate and take action against the globalist. I want to defeat them. So if somebody was not 100% in the past, but they're getting closer to it today, Rush Limbaugh, deep down, he's a good guy. He's a patriot. Sean Hannity, same deal. Michael Savage is coming on this week. Great guy. None of us are perfect. But they care about America. They care about humanity. They really like free market. They like prosperity. It's like Donald Trump. He just doesn't have it out for America. He likes prosperity. He cares about people. And you can read that and pick that up from him. You look at the globalist, man, they want you poor under their control. They want to dominate you. And that's why Beck's so bad. I mean, going to this meeting to be the front guy to try to tell conservatives everything's okay, let Zuckerberg block these right-wingers. He actually came out, you can type in Glenn Beck, Zuckerberg, Glenn Beck Facebook meeting, and he's all over putting articles out saying, yeah, there are bad people on Facebook. They're doing their job. They're not censoring. They're good liberals. So they'll then force feed him to everybody? I mean, that's his business plan? The globalists are all about betrayal. They're going to betray Beck. Beck betrayed himself. So again, this isn't about Glenn Beck. People are like, Glenn Beck who? I get that. But I'm talking about him because his office is Judas Iscariot, the 30 pieces of silver. And when he finally figures that out, whether it's this year or next year or the next, Is he going to go out there and hang himself on the side of a hill and cut his guts open? I don't think so. I think he's worse than Judas Iscariot. I mean, this is the guy that claims he ran our movement and was this priest of all this stuff. And he's hanging around with Zuckerberg, who is an admitted Bilderberg attendee and an admitted globalist, pushing Black Lives Matter, anti-family agenda, got Obama into office, is gaming the internet, taking over the web, and is the #1 contributor to Hillary. And then we're going to see this creature manifest in front of us and tell us that he's our leader. That's disgusting. I mean, we have seen persecution of Christians, libertarians, conservatives, veterans, returning veterans, gun groups, by the IRS by the tens of thousands, arrest, persecutions, bank accounts taken. And MSNBC goes on TV. I played the clips, you've heard him, and says, yeah, the Tea Party's racist. They deserve to be arrested. These soft, taxpayer-funded weirdos sit up there and, like, get a thrill out of, oh, we're going to arrest our opposition. They don't even put thought into that. These journalists don't even have the instinct when they sit up there and smirk on CNN. Dinesh D'Souza just finished his 9-month prison sentence for trying to give money in a campaign to a Senate friend. Didn't just fill out some paperwork. While Hillary gets money from dictators and $100 million from Gulf Emirate sheiks that keep women as slaves. There's an article out from the Wall Street Journal. Former White House reporter, media happy to be managed by Obama. It's the former top writer, one of the editors at the USA Today, Richard Benedito. And he says, you know, they want to lie. You get in these meetings and it's like, how do we grovel more? How do we deceive? It's like Gruber. Remember when all those dozens of videos came out of him sitting around on C-SPAN with the professors going, this is how we lie to people, and everyone fawning about, you wrote the deception, you lied, you doubled the taxes, oh. They were just like, oh, wonderful, teach us how to lie. They're just totally sold out sociopaths and psychopaths and minions that just hop around going, gee, how do I climb the ladder? Carlson wrote notes of what Beck did in this 2-hour meeting, and it was just fawning, groveling. Colt wanted to be his man-child. But then Carlson, because of the non-disclosure, says, well, the guy that won't be named, you know, the guy that... But see, the crazy part was days after he did this, Beck put it all out himself and came out and said, yeah, we got to control dangerous right-wingers. Yeah, we need to censor people. Yeah, these are good liberals. We need to work with Facebook. Tucker Carlson. Glenn Beck acted like he was auditioning to be Zuckerberg's manservant. He doesn't even have the good sense to not go to a meeting like that. Or if he does, he then prostrates himself before it. And world governments out in the open, global carbon taxes that everybody's exempt except Europe and the U.S. and Canada. We're openly being screwed over. We're openly being dumbed down. They're openly getting rid of cash. They're openly announcing all this tyranny. And they've just got all these legions of people that are such followers, they all just gang up because they're so weak. But that's why they want to shut down InfoWars and Talk Radio and Matt Drudge and everybody else, because we just don't have it out for humanity. We just can't sleep at night if we lie to you. We just can't be traitors. And it's not like we're just against being taken over by some new, better system. The globalists are horrible anti-humans. It's a society of psychopaths and their sociopath followers and their mercenary followers. And they're then below that just servants looking for power. Like moths to flame, they're attracted to Lucifer's light. And I've got all this news. I'm going to cover it when we come back and play some clips. It's just really wild to see this, and it's saddening. And I really think, is humanity that weak? Are we that broke back?